Hello everyone. Welcome to our Thursday night Facebook Live. We are diving in here tonight to talk all about antibiotics. If you have gut issues, there's a very strong chance that you have had to take antibiotics before, maybe even several rounds of antibiotics. Long before my gut issues became really big gut issues, long before my fluctuating diarrhea and constipation, the gas and bloating, all the IBS stuff came, I had been on endless rounds of antibiotics, mostly because I was constantly sick growing up, where I was either dealing with, pneumonia or bronchitis, but either way, antibiotics were always a thing that I got slapped onto at least once, if not twice a year. So growing up, what really started to happen was it started to weaken my gut long before I had a chance to really establish a strong gut. And it really started to work against me, and then compounded with all of the other stress factors, risk factors for keeping you stuck on an angry gut train, it eventually led to my gut just being a complete hot mess. And so this might be one of the factors that's been contributing to your gut being out of balance. So tonight I really want to talk about the fact that, listen, taking antibiotics is sometimes absolutely needed. I'm not here to tell you that you should never take an antibiotic. What I do want to help you understand is what happens when you do take one, what you should do to protect your gut, and let's just say that you've taken antibiotics years ago, this is still definitely going to be for you, because we're going to have to really support the damage that's been done so that you can get your symptoms gone without them coming back constantly. Can I get a big hell yes in the comments? Who here is watching this thinking, I want to get rid of my symptoms without them constantly coming back? Let me know in the comments if that is you, because I don't know about you, when I was trying to fix my gut, I tried so many damn things. And I tried the random probiotics. I tried the restrictive diets, and when the probiotics didn't work, I'd go back to the health food store and buy another random supplement that some random person in the health food store recommended who had no clue what was going on with my body. And so no wonder it didn't work, but I was like an octopus on roller skates, and that really kept me on this angry gut train, and I so badly wanted to be able to kick them to the curb without it coming back. So if that's you, let me know in the comments. Now, the good news is it's definitely possible to do that. We teach you how to fix your gut with a complete gut repair system in our Love and Trust Your Guts program. But that's for another day. We're going to really focus in on the things that have kept you on this angry gut train. So antibiotics. First of all, let's talk about the actual mechanism of action. So what do antibiotics do? It's not really new news. Most people know antibiotics serve a role. They help to wipe out all the bad bacteria, and key point, they help to wipe out all the good bacteria too. So it's like cleaning house, which in some cases is needed, but what's really critical is what you do during and after that course of antibiotics. And I suspect many of you guys have been on antibiotics before and haven't done this critical couple of pieces, which means it's why it's really important that you still watch this, even if you're not taking antibiotics right now. So antibiotics are going to go in, they're going to clean house and swish everything out. It's kind of like when you go in to get an oil change on your car and they pull the plug out and all the oil comes out of the car and they catch it in a pan, they clear all the oil out, and then that's like, you can take an antibiotic and clear the whole house out, but if you just do nothing afterwards, it's like putting the plug back into your car but not putting any new oil in the car, right? I mean, that's problematic, because now you've got no fuel not fuel, but oil or anything for your body to run on. Does this make sense? So you can pull all of the stuff out, bad bacteria, all that stuff out, all the good guys out, but we really need to send in the good guys afterwards to follow that up. Otherwise, your doors are wide open for bad bacteria to come back in and take over. So when we look at obviously the bad bacteria have to go, we do need to understand the importance of the good bacteria because they're going to inevitably get kicked out too with an antibiotic. So probiotics are going to be beneficial, good bacteria beneficial, and the reason that you need these good bacteria happening in your gut is because they play many, many different roles that are going to help to keep your gut in balance. And so we want to look at some of those. So first and foremost, your good bacteria help to break down your foods. They actually help you to digest your food. So that's important. The other thing is they are like bouncers at the door keeping bad bacteria out. So that's why I'm saying you can clear house and kick everything out, but if we don't send in some fresh new oil, if we don't put in some new good bacteria after you've cleaned house, then the doors are wide open and bad bacteria can come in and take over. So that's not good. Now, the other things that your good bacteria are going to be helpful for: supporting your immune system. So up to 70% of your immune cells reside in the gut. And so if your gut is unhappy and you don't have enough good bacteria, guess what? Your immune system isn't going to be working top notch. So if you find that you get sick really easily, if you find that you have histamine issues going on where your body is reacting to all the dang foods, or even we have clients that have histamine issues that react to the sun, they react to scents, they react to their environment because of a weakened immune system happening in their gut. Your good bacteria are also going to help you with your mood. So if you have anxiety and depression, we also need to take into account your gut and your good bacteria, because up to 90% of your serotonin, which is your happy hormone, is produced in the gut. So I can't stress this enough, guys. These good bacteria are like the lifeline of your gut. And so when we take an antibiotic and we clear that out, it's often the reason why we start to see that our symptoms get worse after courses of antibiotics. We have many clients that come into the Love and Trust Your Guts program that can trace back to when their symptoms really started to get out of control, to when it started to affect their quality of life. And usually what happened was they had a stressful period in their life, some sort of trauma or illness that happened that landed them on an antibiotic, and that's when afterwards they ended up with raging out of control diarrhea. They ended up with bloating that just felt like it was heaviness sitting, like this hard rock sitting in their stomach, or gas that left them feeling super embarrassed, and even constipation that left them skipping days without any bowel movements. So this is why your probiotics are so important. And when we're going sideways here, hang tight. So when you start to look at this situation of an antibiotic use, and it compounding with the other things that stress out and wear and tear on your gut, this is what, again, is going to keep you stuck on that angry gut train. So a weakened digestive system, so an underactive stomach, and without, again, those bouncers at the door helping to keep bad bacteria out, comes an increase in bad bacteria. We've got a real gut imbalance going on. And it's one of the reasons why I talk so often about how food is not the problem, your gut is. So if you have ever been on an antibiotic before, if you are on an antibiotic, or if you ever have to take an antibiotic ever again, you are going to want to know these two very, very, very important things. First and foremost, if you are taking an antibiotic, you must be on a probiotic during and long after that antibiotic. So the way that I want you to look at it is, if your antibiotic is depleting your good bacteria and bad bacteria, but if it's depleting your good bacteria and you are taking a probiotic during your course of antibiotic, then you're at least going to maintain the state of your gut. You're at least going to maintain the amount of bacteria that are currently in there. But if you take an antibiotic and you are not taking a probiotic, then it is just further going to deplete you and weaken your gut. So at least with taking a probiotic during your round of antibiotics, you are going to maintain where you're at. The purpose of taking probiotic, the purpose of taking a probiotic long after that course is so that you can continue to replenish your gut, so that you can get ahead. So taking a probiotic during antibiotic uses, it's a non-negotiable, because again, we don't want to pull the plug on your oil pan to your car, empty out the oil, stick the plug back in, not put any more oil in, and just turn on the car. You are going to burn out your engine, aka you are going to burn out your gut if you don't have these good bacteria in there protecting it. Now, the second thing that you definitely want to be aware of, and making sure that you are adding in both during and after your course of antibiotics, is prebiotics. Now, prebiotics are very different than probiotics. Prebiotics are the food that your probiotics live off of. Prebiotics are what help your probiotics to thrive and live. The way that you can look at it is like a garden. So your prebiotics are this healthy soil that is full of nutrients. And when you plant a seed in there, your probiotics, if the soil is healthy and you've got lots of prebiotics happening, lots of nutrients for that plant, that seed to live and thrive off of, then it will grow and replenish and really create this beautiful garden of diverse microbiome and bacteria and everything happening in your garden, in your gut. So you want to make sure that you've got good soil happening in your gut. And so that means you need prebiotics. Now, this doesn't mean you need to go buy prebiotic supplements. There's a lot of good, healthy, whole foods that are prebiotics, like garlic, onions, artichokes. And you're probably listening to this thinking, I can't have any of those. They're on the high FODMAP list. I'm going to tell you right now, this is exactly why we do not promote the low FODMAP diet, because the low FODMAP diet has you eliminating all these good quality foods, asparagus, leeks, again, garlic, onions, artichokes, that actually help to feed your good bacteria, and even foods like garlic, again, that help to keep bad bacteria out. And so diets like the low FODMAP diet, following this restrictive lifestyle, is not fixing the problem, which is again happening in your gut. It's really just making you miserable. And studies are now showing that long-term use of that low FODMAP diet is much more detrimental than beneficial because of this exact reason. So when it comes to these prebiotics, make sure you're incorporating them into your diet, and cook with them. Like even dandelion greens are fantastic. You might still find some in the grocery stores. And I love cooking these up in mixing them up with some other bitter greens like rapini and bok choy and Swiss chard, which are really great liver supporters as well. Not only going to help to support your good bacteria, but also your overall gut health by helping to stimulate enzyme production. Now that's a bonus piece for you tonight. So let's make sure we're getting all the questions answered. Okay, Anne says, my old doc would give me Cipro when I had a bad IBS flare. It's super common, guys. And what I'll say about that is my whole approach is help you get beyond just managing your symptoms. Right? I want to help you get beyond having to rely on laxatives, antidiarrheals, medications, things that are just going to temporarily give you relief, because in my books, I haven't really helped you regain any quality of life if you're constantly having to rely on these things and have this fear or anxiety of your symptoms lingering, kind of like waiting for the other shoe to drop constantly. I want to help you really get to the root of what's going on, help you address the causative factors that are keeping you stuck on the angry gut train, and we're going to help you fix that so that your symptoms don't keep coming back, so that you can finally actually feel normal, so you can have confidence in your body. So if that is you, if you are like, I am so ready to actually fix the root of this so that I don't have to worry about managing this the rest of my life, so that I can actually take back control of my body and my health and be able to go out and socialize and eat with my friends and family and not worry about being glued to the toilet or waiting to go poop, then I want you to slip into my private messages, slip in there and let me know what you're struggling with most right now, because I'm going to send you over some free videos that will help to guide you and get you started in getting right to the root instead of managing it. Does that make sense? Okay, Heather said, I've had a hard time finding a good probiotic suggestions. Great question. It's really challenging for me to make a recommendation when it comes to probiotics. Here's why, and this goes for any supplements. The reason is because every single person is different. And if there is someone out there that is making a general supplement recommendation, run. Run, because they are not doing you any good. They're really not helping you, and there's very likely some sort of financial benefit for them if they're recommending a specific supplement. And that's the truth. The thing is that your body has over 1,000 different strains of bacteria. Wow, that's a lot of different types of bacteria. And so we have to figure out exactly what strains your individual body needs, depending on your symptoms, your health history, your environment, your diet, all of that stuff come into play. And so it's tough for me to make a one-off recommendation without knowing more of what's going on for you. So if you're feeling like you need additional help in figuring out supplements that are customized for your individual body, that's something that we teach in the Love and Trust Your Guts program. But otherwise, again, I'd be doing you a massive disservice. And in a lot of cases, taking certain probiotics in cases like SIBO and guessing the wrong way can do more harm than good. And I don't ever want to be responsible for you taking a probiotic and you feeling more pain or bloating or raging diarrhea or constipation because you didn't get started on the right one. So working with a healthcare practitioner that can guide you is going to be really important. Alrighty, I think we've got all the questions. Oh, are all probiotics created equal? Great question. Kind of just answered it. No. You might be wondering, why do I go to a health food store and there's one that's like $10 and there's another that's like $85? You get what you pay for when it comes to probiotics. The thing is, again, there's over 1,000 different strains in your body, and in these probiotic supplements you'll see in the stores, they'll have some that have 2 strains, some will have 16 strains, some will have different quantities of strains. So some will have 10 million, others will have 90 billion. So all of that matters, especially when we need to take into account your symptoms that you're experiencing. So no, they're not all created equal. And this is the beautiful thing about probiotics too, because each of these individual strains will actually help to benefit you in different ways. So some are better for constipation, some are better for diarrhea, and the way that I like to look at them is little characters. They all have little different characteristics that are going to benefit you in different ways. Okay, Anne says, yeah, I agree. I want to heal and prevent, not treat symptoms. Amazing. I love it. So guys, I hope this was helpful. If it was, you know what to do. Give it a like, give it a share, and we will see you next week. Bye.